grass area is getting less and less for the horses now. Okay, so what are some of the different points that we can talk about in implant body design? Of course, there's a straight-walled implant versus tapered implant. There's a roughened collar. Collar would be that if you have an implant body at the top. Some are machined and polished collar, and some are roughened all the way up. Roughened collar versus polished collar. Some of the apex, the end of the implant, some implant brands are sharp and cutting edges at the apex. Some are blunted and non-cutting apex. And even at the blunted, there's two different types. There are some rounded at the apex, and them are flat at the apex. There's different kinds of shapes that I've tried, all of them, placing implants in the sinus. What about the thread pitch? You can see a tighter thread pitch, which is a really tight thread, and there's a wider thread, something similar to like Strawman or Ankylos that we would consider there's a wide thread pitch. What are the difference between the two? Ability of platform switching. That would mean that you can place a 5mm diameter implant and you still be able to place a 3.75mm diameter of an abutment. That would be considered platform switching. Now, advantages of a platform switching for sinus augmentation would be, number one, because the screw, internal screw size is usually the same size, so you are able to place a washer cover screw or platform cover screw, so to prevent that implant from getting into either the sinus space or inside the membrane space. And sometimes if you have any kind of failure after it's been loaded, sometimes if the occlusion was high, or maybe it was fibro integrated, or maybe you didn't realize the implant was not fully osseointegrated and you had restored the case, and about 3 to 4 to 6 months later you have a failure of an osseointegration of that implant, but you had just already made a prosthetics, the abutment and the crown. So, but if you have the advantage of platform switching, then you can easily switch that implant to a wider diameter. Typically when you have a failure, then typically you have to change it to a 2 diameter up in size to replace the implant, and that particular prosthetic with slight modification of porcelain you can still use. You know, that really comes in handy for us. So any kind of platform switching ability is a plus when I choose a type of implant brand that I want to use.